Hey, what's up, everybody? Great to see you as always. Hit like, hit subscribe, turn on your notifications. Listen, you know what to do. And of course, let's get after it. Hi, hello, and welcome to your favorite piece of average to good escapism. Call it what you want. I'm Jimmy Conrad alongside Marcelo Balboa. And just Marcelo Balboa. Actually, we'll have Charlie Davies joining us a little bit later. He is doing the MLS Media Day in Florida. Big Tones is down there as well, but he's got some other responsibilities that he's doing. So it's just me and Cello for a little bit. Cello, great to see you as always. And first and foremost, where's that jacket from? Because I want it.
Thank you for having me back again. I'm excited. Finally, I'm going to say it's about effing time. We've got snow. We've got snow in Colorado. You've got the golf shirt. I've got the 90-ish sweatshirt that is a double XL, I think. Everything we wore was huge back then. So it's an XL, so it's very big, very stiff. But I love my old collection, man. I love the retro stuff.
Of course, as do I. And we're obviously going to get into a leaked jersey for 2026. Oof. So we'll get into what we are hearing and seeing is going to be unveiled for the World Cup for the U.S. men's national team perspective. We're also going to talk about Brenden Aaronson again, because how can we not? He had a brace against Newcastle midweek. Congratulations to Brenden. He is in hot form. We're going to talk about the Waldo. This is the jersey that might be unveiled. We'll have Check Chasing Chuck joining us for our second block. He's got a special guest. We're hearing it's a pretty big name. And I don't know if I should reveal the name or not. Let's leave it a secret, but he does play for the U.S. men's national team. So we're excited to see him sit next to Chuck, and we'll get some good information and a good interview from that. And then we're going to talk about all the coaching hires in MLS. There's like 9 changes. And in some ways, Cello, I want to get into what you think these coaches need to do. A lot of them are young or getting their first opportunities as a head coach. What do you think they need to do when they walk into it? But we'll get into that a little bit later because we got to talk about Brenden Aaronson.
Yes.
Now, what's interesting is that Leeds had the lead 3 different times against Newcastle, and they ended up losing the game. And that's only the second time that's happened in the Premier League. The other time was Leeds in 2022 against Tottenham. So Leeds just needs to stop having big leads ultimately. But Brenden Aaronson scored a great first goal. Previously he scored against Man United. Scores against Newcastle here with his right foot really well taken, finds himself in a good spot in the second half and slots it between the legs of the defender, and it goes into the corner. I mean, the kid is on absolute fire. He's not a kid anymore, but he's much younger than me, so I could probably be his dad at this point. You had him when we did a little bit of a roster check.
Definitely could be his father.
I didn't want to say it, so I'm glad you did that. But Cello, you had him as a roster lock for you. And we had a conversation in our last pod, like, do you see a world where he could potentially start for the U.S.? But you kind of had him pegged right away that he fits a piece of the puzzle for Mauricio Pochettino.
Yeah, listen, it's awesome to be on the show again. And it's when you look at this national team and when you've been broadcasting for so many years, you kind of start getting a feel for each coach and what they're looking for, what they want, what kind of mentality they want. And Brenden fits that. And that's why I said it last time. He's a lock for me because when you put that guy on the field, there's no, I'm grumpy today, I'm not starting, I'm going to just kind of go through the motions. This dude walks on the field, starting or coming off the bench, and he gives you 100% everything he has. And I love that. He's got, 4 goals on the year. He is playing well. Listen, we talked about surprises, right? Somebody's going to start playing well that's going to surprise and make this team. Branden's not that guy. He's already, for me, he's a lock. He's in. He's a guy I want coming off the bench. But he's a guy right now that's showing Pochettino that this is important to me. I want to be there, and I will prove it to you at the highest level possible, and that's in the EPL, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah, he had a quote after this game saying, "Of course, I'm devastated. It's annoying when you score 2, and then mentally I turned off for a minute, and I know I can't lift my hand like this around the box." So to give some reference to what he's saying there, it's 3-2. Dying embers of the game here, and Newcastle hits somewhat of a hopeful cross in. Brendan's out there to pressure, but it hits his hand, and I mean, he is on the line. I mean, his body's probably outside of the box, but his hand is inside the box, barely, and they end up giving it a penalty. His manager, Daniel Farke's like, I mean, what are we even doing? You know, the referee was ready to call something, and he was quick to it. and they called it, and I'm paraphrasing his comments there. But and then Brenden Aaronson finished with saying it's football at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But what a game overall! What an advertisement for the league. And another game that I want to pivot to here, and Brenden Aaronson, we're going to have plenty of time to talk about him over the coming months. And I want to see how he's utilized in the March window, right? That'll be a nice tell as to where Mauricio Pochettino is leaning. But Anthony Robinson, Fulham beat Chelsea at home 2-1. 6th straight game now for Anthony Robinson. Since they lost 2 straight before he came back into the team. Since he's been back in the team, Cello, 6 games, unbeaten. 4 wins, 2 draws. They just beat Chelsea at home. Now they were benefit of an early red card on Kukurea. Harry Wilson's been amazing. The guy's just like what a patch of form. He's like the Brenden Aaronson of Fulham, if I may. But I think what's interesting is, and I also want to bring up Weston McKennie because Juve beat Sassuolo 3-0. Yeah. Jonathan David, Canadian international, made up for his mistake against Lecce on the weekend and ends up getting a goal and an assist in this game. Played very well. But in the Fulham game, I bring this up because Raul Jimenez also scored. So we had a Mexican international and a Canadian international score goals in these games. But I just want to throw that in. But Jedi's been fantastic. Let's bring it back to Jedi. He is just full of confidence. And so if there's any straight line between Brenden Aaronson and Jedi, it's confidence is a hell of a drug. And both of those guys have a ton of it right now.
How about this? Staying healthy. That's a huge. That's a huge drug. Yeah, that's a huge. Getting him back 100%. We knew what he could do. We all knew if he's healthy, he's a lock to be a starter, just like Serginho Dest. That gives an opportunity for Freeman to maybe play more as that third center back. You have a little bit of variety in that back line. But, I mean, I remember, and I don't know about with your team, but I remember all the teams that have been around there. We never talked about a key player being a left back or a right back. And in our team, it was you needed Tab. You needed John, you needed Ronaldo, you needed right down the spine, Lexi, myself, Tony. Nowadays, we talk about importance of a player. And the importance of a player now is you need a left back, you need a right back, you need wing backs that are healthy, that are going to be on the game because they're the majority where the creativity comes from. So having Jedi back and Des back, I think opens up a huge door for Pochettino to try different things in the 3 in the middle, what he wants to try. So Jedi to me was a huge piece. When he wasn't there, you saw that we missed a little bit of, and Arsene did a nice job. Don't get me wrong, but it's different when Jedi's in there. The way he attacks, the way he puts back right backs on their heels, it's fantastic to see him at the highest level. And listen, will he be at Fulham much longer? I think right after the World Cup, there's a good opportunity the way he plays and what he brings to a team.
He's a little older though. He's a little older. Okay.
Doesn't matter.
All right. Just want to put that part of the equation.
Yeah. I think nowadays. Hold on. Everybody's playing till the 38, 40.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Especially with modern medicine, right? They can keep you going for a little bit longer. And I feel like there's more workload management. There's more thought behind how do we balance the output of each player.
You mean it's not go to practice, run the Cooper, do the Swedish obstacle course.
That's just the first practice of the day. No. Then we got to come back in the afternoon.
People don't realize this GPS thing is a savior for players.
Yeah.
Because our coaches before Gans are we're running. And all of a sudden you're dead, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
But you still figured out a way to have that grit and tough. I mean, that gave us that grit and toughness in some ways, right? Yep. I think there's a lot of value, and maybe this gets lost in how mechanical things feel at times, right? Yep. We're so beholden to the GPS, to the analytics, that there are moments where maybe the team in their preparation, I should add, don't get to suffer together. Like if you say, hey, we're going to go run. And I remember doing this with club coaches, Gansler, hey, we're going to go run through the woods for 5 miles together. And it's got to be a good pace. There's no bullshit hanging out and smoking a cigarette and sipping a cappuccino in the back, even though maybe a player or two did that. But overall, it's about suffering together. And then when you learn how to suffer together, you can go from surviving to thriving on the field, right? And I think that could be sometimes lost with all the analytics and stats that are out there at times. I'm just throwing that up there.
No, it is lost. And I'll tell you why. I work with the academy in Colorado. And when we didn't have the GPS, we were one of the fittest teams, the U14s. We knew very clear we will run teams into the ground because of the altitude. And we didn't have to worry about the GPS, about workload, about giving a guy a break, about a kid mentally checking out because my body. Now you see kids like, okay, they reach their workload. We got to stop them. A 3-minute drill. We got to stop them. So they're not learning to push past that pain threshold.
Right.
They're not learning to push each other and to help each other.
I agree.
They're relying on the GPS, and that's not 100% okay.
Yeah. And also learning how to concentrate when you're tired.
Exactly.
Learning how to solve problems when you're tired.
Yes.
Right. Being comfortable with being uncomfortable is a skill, is an art, right? Individually and collectively. And I talk a lot about that too. When
Suffering's an art. Suffering.
It is.
You know, I mean, listen, I knew when we played and when you guys played in your generation that if we had to go 120 minutes, we were freaking ready to go 120 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure nowadays we push these kids hard enough to even test if they can go 90 without really, you know what I mean, pushing that level. So I agree with you. All right, back to the show. Here we go.
No. I love the tangents. I think it gives more insight for us, and it's a conversation I love to get into. But also, I think good for the listeners to know that we're actually human beings that have thoughts about stuff outside of the topics of the day. A couple other things of note. Oh, I wanted to finish this on Jedi. What I love and what I think he brings to the table is this ability to now, and this is the highest compliment I can pay him. Every time he steps on the field, I know I'm going to get a 7 or 8 out of 10 from him.
Yeah.
And I wonder, and this is for everybody listening as well in the community, would you make him captain because of that consistency that we're seeing? Do you think he's a candidate for a captain for us into the World Cup? Do you think he's in that conversation, or do you think he's probably just part of the leadership group?
I think you have to have captains that lead by example.
Yeah.
You've got to have captains who are leaders verbally. You know what I mean? And you've got to have those guys in between the coach and the players. Do I think he's a captain? You know, it's tough because I'm not there. I see him at practice. I think he's a captain no matter what. On the field, off the field, the way he plays, he leads by example.
Okay.
To say he's a captain, I want a leader in the midfield. I want a leader in the back, straight up the spine of my team. I want captains so they can get the message across. So I think when you look at players, Messi's quiet, but Messi, the way he plays. Christian Pulisic, Tyler Adams, those are guys that are captain to me on this team verbally, that are verbally going to be the captain is Tyler Adams. By play and by example, I think Christian Pulisic and Robinson.
Okay. So Jedi, when he's healthy, was the captain for Fulham, right? Leading into this. Then he was out for a while, and they pivoted and there's also players that don't need like a piece of thin cloth around their arm to be captains. To your point, I do want to throw Chris Richards into the mix. I thought as a former center back, you'd have Chris Richards.
100%.
I think he'd be probably number 1 for me right now, but I think Tyler's 2, and then maybe Christian's 3, but Jedi's in the mix for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
But I just think there's something about that consistency and obviously his confidence that lends itself to being a good captain. And obviously he's doing it at the club level. Okay, 2 other players I want to mention here. Yunus Musah subbed on for the 5th straight game for Atalanta. Okay, and Atalanta's been playing better when he's been on the field. He's clearly winning that trust, and I just want to give a shout out to him because he's been going through it. He's been getting criticized from us, amongst others, publications and fans. And I love that he's been quiet about it. He's found his way into the team, and now he's making a positive difference for his team. And I want to say that says a lot about Yunus Musah. He might not make our World Cup team, and he's going to have to accept that. But I did want to give him some flowers here because he's working his way back into it, and he's being trusted. And he's getting himself into a midfield that's not easy to get in midfield, or he's playing out wide in the wing back spot. And I wonder if he can get enough of a run and a runway that could lead into some momentum that maybe, given there could be some injuries, it could be that he could find himself back into the team. It's more than possible. Clearly has the talent, demonstrated it in the 2022 World Cup. But I do appreciate the perseverance that he's showing because these are the tests, right? You're always going to have tests in your career. It's not a straight line to success where it's just everything's perfect to B, right? There's going to be ups and downs. And so I appreciate that he's working through these downs. And so I wanted to give him his flowers, Cello.
Yeah, listen, here's a problem. When people get upset because, you're ripping him. Listen, we're just talking soccer. This is nothing personal. I mean, if you sit down with him, Spanish, English, he is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. But I think when it comes down to actually play on the field, we have to be a little bit more critical. Okay, when you're talking about a guy and I was just bored the other day when you guys brought up, we were going, let's talk about him. I said, okay. I started to look at starting 11. He's only made the starting 11 11% of the times.
Yeah.
Okay. He's only played 21% of the minutes that is a total of what he's done. He's got 0 goals, 0 assists.
Mhm.
He keeps coming in. He's playing about 20 minutes on average, probably, give or take 20 to 30 minutes.
Right.
Not good enough, man.
Mhm.
Not good enough. You're going to play in a World Cup team. You're going to make the 26.
Of course. I agree with you. 100%.
You've got to be in the top
Agreed.
echelon
Agreed.
of players that are playing, because now you're going to put him against a Luna who's playing all the time. Listen,
Mhm.
if you wanted to make the World Cup team, really wanted to make it, you might have come back to MLS and played every game started, and now Pochettino has you right in his sights. So, he went through a battle. Did he make a mistake going to AC Milan? Probably so. And we do this throughout our career. We all make mistakes, but I can tell you this. The one mistake you don't want to make is a year out from the World Cup, because that's the most important time of the year. The coach wants to see who's in best form, who's doing this. So I listen, if he can get on and keep playing some more and score a goal, just show something more, I think he's got a shot at making it. But I wouldn't take him right now over Luna. And listen, if you want to go back to the last World Cup, I mean, we all talked about it's a lock. Yunus, Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams, midfield, it was a lock. Now you don't even talk about Musah anymore, and that's the disappointing part.
Yeah, well, for him, I think it's great. It's great for our player pool. Yunus does have the ability to play multiple positions, so I think that gives him.
But tell me what position he's good at. Because we can all play different positions. Listen. You can play as a 6. I've seen you play as a 6. I've seen you play as a right back and a center back. You can all. But what was your best position?
Well, for me, center back.
There you go.
But it clears. I was clearly my best position was center back. I don't know what Yunus Musah's clearly best position is.
That's my point.
And that's working against him a little bit. A jack of all trades, but good at everything, but not great at one thing. And so anyway, I just ultimately brought him up to talk about. I love that he's fighting through it, and I hope that continues. Whether he gets, we want, as I think you mentioned before, we want to make sure that Mauricio Pochettino has as many headaches as possible when selecting this team, and we'll see if Yunus can be a part of that conversation.
I'll say here, I think we all make a big mistake sometimes. Landon took that hiatus before the World Cup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guys were taking breaks in there. Yunus wasn't playing a lot, right? And so why did he turn down the Gold Cup?
Yeah, I don't know. They're going to have to write a book on that at some point. All right. Keeping it on Serie A. Just a note for everybody. You can catch Christian Pulisic in action later today as AC Milan hosts Genoa. That's live on Paramount Plus at 2:45 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully he gets the start in this one and does what Christian does when he's wearing the Milan jersey or the U.S. jersey, right? He's always doing something positive. Very quick on this. This is more of a note. Damion Downs completes his move. He's on loan to Hamburg this season. So he earned 6 U.S. caps in 2025 after a very successful season last year with Cologne. He helped them. He had 10 goals and 5 assists. They won the second division title. They got promoted to the Bundesliga. He looked like a hot item. So Southampton's like, we'll pay $11 million for him. And he has struggled. He failed to score for Southampton in the championship, but he's now going to 13th place Hamburg. And they just have their injured captain, Yusuf Poulsen, who's out. And so clearly had success in Germany. We'll see how it goes, but wanted to give you an update on Damion Downs making the move back to Germany. All right, let's get into what I think the big topic is here. It's the jerseys. We're fashionistas here. Call it what you want, okay? And so these are reportedly the leaked jerseys for the World Cup. So you haven't seen them, and if you're listening to this, you're gonna have to go find it online or watch us here on the YouTube's Golazo America YouTube channel. They haven't been confirmed by official sources, but it's a home kit that's inspired by the U.S. flag, the 94 kits, and the 2012 Waldo jersey. So it's essentially the Waldo jersey with wavy lines. So for those that can't see it, but if you're looking at it right now, what are we saying? Out of 10, your initial response to this, Cello, because you wore the 94 kit that was wavy. They had wavy lines, maybe not as wavy as the ones we're seeing right now, but they were vertical. These are horizontal.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts when you think this is the jersey the U.S. are going to be wearing the World Cup in the summer?
You know what? Here's the deal. I was a little disappointed. If this is it, if this is the kit, I'm a little disappointed because, listen, I'm going to show you this. We went from, 94.
Yeah, I can see
20 to sideways to 2026. So
I think it's more this time around. Look at you. Look at that hair.
Wavy. It's the hairdo that kills me, that mullet back then. You know what I mean?
He had it all working. That's
Look
all
at
working.
The pinky ring. I remember that.
That wasn't a foul, by the way. I don't even know why you're
No.
diving there.
Yeah, I don't either. I was in on goal. I was in on goal. I was past.
They got
No,
two-footed
listen, I think
behind.
listen,
Look at that. Wow.
I think it's different. 94 and 2026 should have a different feel. They shouldn't be trying to try to create what happened in 94 with the jerseys or anything like that. And listen, I get it. It's the flag, it's the wave, but it's not really much different than what we had in 94. So I don't know. I guess when it comes to World Cup, that's the one jersey I love. I want to get. I'm expecting to be blown out of the water. And then if
I think
this
it's
is
too much
it, I
pressure.
was just
Too
like,
much pressure. Too much pressure, Cello. I think they played
know.
it relatively safe. They went with a
Too
classic.
safe.
The Waldo is a classic. I will say I have the Waldo behind me right now.
Yeah.
And it's straight lines,
Yeah.
horizontal, very clean. I love the navy blue collar.
Yeah.
We're seeing a picture of it right now with Clint and Michael Bradley wearing it with white shorts. I actually preferred the Waldo with navy shorts.
Yeah.
If I'm going to go full fashionista on everybody. When you see this kit, there was a photo of quote unquote Christian Pulisic wearing it, so obviously doctored, but it was interesting to see it with the numbers on it. I feel like it's just a little bit busy. So we're seeing the Waldo kit now with Michael Bradley and Clint Dempsey, where their number cuts out the stripe, and I like that. I think it looks cleaner that way.
Yeah. I don't mind. Listen, I don't mind the wavy lines. I like it better than the Waldo straight look.
Okay.
I like the wavy. I don't have a problem with that. I just think we've used this already. You guys used it.
Here's the one we're kind of seeing right now.
See?
Yeah. I like the navy short, though. You got to go navy short. Can't go white or red. I know you wore red. You wore red. The white socks are clean.
Yeah, it's very clean. No, listen, like I said, it
looks better like this, actually.
Yeah.
But the number on the front, you got to be able to see the number on the front.
A little block, a little square.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So you
a little
can see
busy
it
right now. A little too busy.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Listen, I'm going to get over it. I'm going to end up loving this jersey. It's not going to be a problem because I like when it looks in full. But,
listen,
I understand where you're coming from, Chelsea.
It's not like U.S. Soccer is going to send me one, so I'll end up buying one anyway. I bought my last few World Cup jerseys.
Can you imagine? So. Listen. Let's pretend Marcelo isn't here. Could you imagine a world where U.S. Soccer doesn't give their alumni that have got over 100 caps a jersey? I just can't. Listen, I only had 27 caps, but for someone that played over 100 times for their country in multiple World Cups, that should be a given. So anybody watching from U.S. Soccer, can we fix that? Can we just? I don't need one. It's not for me. It's for the guys that have over 100 caps and that have. We were standing on their shoulders for how this game has grown in this country. Yeah. Please, anybody at U.S. Soccer, please.
I will say this. Once you showed me the full picture with
it looks better, right?
The blue shorts, it does look better.
It does.
It looks
but
nice.
I think you got to box it out. You got to have that number boxed out in the middle.
I agree.
Super clean. Okay, so let's talk about the second jersey that we're seeing. And the second one that we're seeing, again, this is all reported, is all black with like a hint of stars on it. This for me, I assume when you wear this, it would be with black shorts and black socks. Very referee vibe. I don't know if I want the referee vibe. Also, secondarily, it feels like a goalkeeper would wear this. Like, I don't mind the goalkeeper wearing this kit, okay? But if this is really going to be it, I'm disappointed it's all black. I don't mind the all like one color. I actually don't even mind the stars. The vertical stars. There's 3-4 strips of no problem with that. I just wish it was like navy blue. Go all navy then, right? Like have a color that we wear normally. So if it went all navy with navy shorts, or if you went with white shorts with navy socks, listen, now we're cooking. But this feels very referee / goalkeeper vibe to me. Where are you on this one?
I think they threw this one out there to throw people for a loop.
Maybe.
I think because as far as I know, red, white, and blue. Where's the black in the? You know what I mean? We're not New Zealand. We're not going to be the All Blacks. So, you know what I'm saying? So I would love to see this like you said, in that the color of the shorts, that navy, something.
Yeah.
Even in a red. I don't mind it in a red with a faded little anything but black. Oh my God. There it is. I'm not sure. Do you want the hockey haircut or the porn mustache? Which one's better?
I like the JC Penney that you went to go get this photo taken. Where did you guys take these photos? That backdrop is I'm here with my kids. I just have to take this photo.
Hey, it was back in the 90s, kid. What do you want? It was in the 90s.
Now look at the air that you got in this photo. I like this though. You had the denim kit with the red shorts
Yeah.
and the white socks. I mean, that is iconic.
And you know what's funny is we hated these. When they showed it to us, we thought they were joking with us. We thought it was like a prank. And it's become, I tell you, listen, it's become the most iconic World Cup jersey for the U.S. because everywhere I go, people ask, do you have one? Can I buy one off you? And I've been offered $5,000 for a jersey.
Do you have it still?
For that jersey. I have mine. It's framed. You know what I mean? But it's,
nice.
I mean, it's no one ever thought that these were going to be that iconic.
So we have a couple minutes before Chuck and our special guests come on. When you had that, when you're wearing that jersey, when you walked out, give me a little bit of once you got past, like, okay, we're hosting the World Cup, we're playing in front of our home fans. Like, when did it just feel surreal the whole time, Cello? I guess it
was surreal the whole time. And I'll be honest with you, because I never thought in my lifetime that I would play in a World Cup at home, because we were just qualified the first time ever in 90. Yeah. What would make you think that FIFA would give 94 to the United States?
Yeah, it's not fair. Yeah.
So, and then you know how it is. You're playing, you don't know if you're going to get injured. But when we walked out in Detroit, we were a little nervous, but I think you saw a team that was on a mission. We had a team that had to prove a lot to everybody in the United States who's never seen soccer, who's never seen a World Cup. Yeah. People around the world looked at the same group of players that played in 90 and say, these guys sucked in 90. Why are they going to be any better? You know what I'm saying? It was that kind of stigma we had.
Right.
So,
hey, Cello, I'm actually going to hit pause on this.
Go.
And I hate to do this, but our special guest only has a certain amount of time.
Let's
go. We're going to revisit this, everybody, and after this interview is done. But we're going to take our first break. When we come back, Check, Chase, and Chuck, and a special guest. He may play for the U.S. men's national team, will be joining us. Don't go anywhere.
The clock never stops. Relive the greatest moments with uninterrupted highlights and more.
It's Gareth Bale. Ronaldo! Wonderful goal.
On the UEFA Champions League channel. Streaming free.
All right, welcome back in to Call It What You Want. I want to apologize again to our living legend, Marcelo Balboa, for interrupting him. But we have a very special guest who's got, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes for us with Check, Chase, and Chuck. Chuck's joining us live from MLS Media Day in Florida. Chuck, what's up? Oh, Sebastian Berhalter's with us. Unbelievable scenes. You love to see it. Chuck, Sebastian, thanks for hanging out with us today. Charlie, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Oh, he's muted. We can't hear him right now. I absolutely love that. Hey, and that's a nod to Big Tones. Tony.
Hey, we good now?
Yeah, we are
There we
good.
go.
Let's go. Cello, I was going to say, how many times has Jimmy contradicted himself in the past 10 minutes? No, but I'm here with the next rising superstar here. Are you kidding me? Let's go.
Sebastian, what's up, man? Great to see you.
What's up? I was actually enjoying listening to Marcelo. I could have kept listening to that. That was fun, hearing his perspective on it. That was pretty cool.
Well, it's because you weren't born at the time, so they're all new stories to you. So
that's 100% true.
I love it. All right, so Sebastian, I'm going to go first here. At the start of 2025, so it's basically this time last year, did you ever envision the year that you had? I mean, you got to 2 finals, the CONCACAF Champions final, you got to MLS Cup final, you got your first caps to the national team, scored a goal against Uruguay, your first goal. I mean, what do you, so I say all this, like, what are you dreaming for in 2026 after that 2025?
Yeah, I think, 2025 was something that, maybe I didn't envision all that happening, but it's something that, I felt like was around the corner, that was in the horizon, and it felt like it was a compound interest of all the work I put in the last, 5 years and my whole life. So, I was ready for it and ready to go. And then, next year, I feel like there's a lot of things I feel like I could have been better at this year, and a lot of, small details that, will hopefully add up and, for next year to help me be even better. So it's a good year, and I want to be better though. I feel like I still have another step to take for sure.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I'm going to jump in. Good. Hey, I saw an interview where you talked about almost quitting the game of soccer. There's so many kids out there, they get to a point where they get frustrated. Where and how did you switch that? Because you went from possibly not playing to now you're possibly on the verge of making a World Cup team. And there's a lot of kids that get to that point where they just give up.
Hey, how old were you when that happened?
I was 21, 22. And yeah, it was something that, I'm so glad it happened, because that's when I started to figure out, who I am as a person, and, started to build the team. And and people around me and, you know, trying to find good people that can help me along this journey. And it's not just me, you know, and sometimes it can feel that way where it's, you know, you're kind of isolated and it's just you. And I think that was super important. You know, now I have people around me that, you know, I've always had my family, but other people that, you know, have a lot of knowledge in different areas. And then kind of starting to build those routines, those processes that, you know, help me to where I'm at today. And, you know, that's what makes me me. And that's what I pride myself in. And, you know, if I didn't have that year in Austin, I wouldn't be here today. That's 100%.
What was more difficult, the pressure or the expectation? Being a coach's son, not only a coach's son, the national team coach's son. How did you kind of navigate that as being, you know, having that shadow?
Yeah, neither really impacted me. It was more of just me finding myself, you know, me, you know, going through a tough time and then not having anything to fall back on. You know, I think I've always loved that. I always loved having that. And, you know, one day I always dreamed like, okay, maybe I'm not, you know, Greg Berhalter's son, even though that's the biggest honor, you know, because he's done so much in U.S. soccer and for the game. But, you know, I want to, you know, be Sebastian Berhalter. And that's something I've always dreamt of. And yeah, I think that's part of it. And it's fun. And I love when, you know, people say like, oh, like, you know, you got this, you got that, you know, your dad's a coach and, you know, maybe had a little bit easier. And, you know, yeah, honestly, he's given me so much knowledge and I'm so thankful for that. And, you know, that's something
like, hey, I went through some lows. Like,
yeah, no, for sure. And I think everyone does, you know, and again, those lows is what, you know, made me, you know, sit here with you guys today.
So Sebastian, talk about that compounded experience, this included, right? Having the lows and how it unlocked for you in the Vancouver Whitecaps this particular season. Because you brought in a new coach, Jesper Sorensen, you all the pundits, I won't say us per se, but those other pundits out there picked you to be 13th or 14th and not have a good season at all. And you defied all expectations. What were you doing individually and what was the team doing collectively for you to have that type of success, which ultimately led to some individual success with the U.S.?
Yeah, I think as the group goes, we were always a tight knit group, and we always had, you know, guys that wanted to be with each other, wanted to hang out. And on the field, I don't know if we're 100% clicking. We were just like kind of trying to figure it out, and maybe we're doing a little bit too much. And Jesper came and made it really pragmatic. You know, he didn't make it more than it needed to be. He, you know, came in, set a good foundation, good principles, good standards, and guys, you know, took to that. And you know, credit to our group, credit to Jesper, to everyone to buy into that. And I think that it was so fun this year. This whole year was a blast. And, you know, sometimes you have locker rooms that are hit or miss, like every single guy in the locker room. Yeah, no, 100%. And that's normal. You know what I mean? Like, it's not every locker room's an amazing locker room.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, one quick follow-up then. Just, I'm going to build off of that, what you said. Now there are expectations.
Yeah.
Is the group ready for that? Now you're expected to get to finals and now you're expected to play at a certain level. And that's a harder, for me in my own career, that was a harder hill to climb for me than when nobody thought I could do anything, right? Having to maintain that level of success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think, you know, even when they had us 13th, 14th, we didn't listen, you know, and even if this year we're going to be first or second, you know, we're not going to listen. And I think that's even this whole year I was, Vancouver's a good team. Like, you know, anytime anyone said anything good or bad, we kind of blocked it out. You know, it didn't matter because that's how, you know, we're far away, you know, we're in Canada, we're up in the Pacific Northwest. Like, we're used to no one, you know, really caring about us. And sometimes it's fair. You know, we haven't won too many trophies, haven't been, you know, any playoff runs. So we get it. And that's something we just kind of keep our head down and just keep working. Same thing with the travel. Like, it just doesn't affect us anymore. You know, we're used to it and, you know, it's just part of who we are. So it's, I'm excited to have those expectations. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not hiding anymore in Vancouver. There's no chance.
No.
There's no way.
Yeah, especially when you have Thomas there.
Yeah, exactly. Let me ask you this. I had a dad who played professional soccer, and I remember growing up, my dad had my goal. He set the foundation for what I wanted to be, and my goal was always like, I'm going to be better than my dad. That was always my goal. The relationship between you and your dad, how hard did he push you? How much leeway did he give you? And did you ever get to that point that, like, I want to be better than my dad?
I don't think so. I think, like, to me, like, you know, the way he helped me was a lot more collaborative, you know, and it felt like we were doing it together. You know, he just wanted me to be myself. And I didn't want to play soccer. I didn't have to play soccer. And, you know, he wasn't ever telling me to go train. He wasn't ever telling me, like, all these things. You know, he was always supportive. And, you know, sometimes I thought I had a good game and he would kind of bring me down and vice versa. If I had a bad game, try to bring you up a little bit. But, again, like, he was hands off and he just wanted me to find the game for myself. And I think he did a great job. Like, you know, I really harbored that that love for the game because, he didn't push me too hard and, I had to bring it out of myself. And even my mom is so thankful for both of them to, kind of nurture me in that way to make me, love the game as much as I do.
Guys, I don't know if you know, but I got to see him as a young kid, right? Playing at UNC. I'm calling ACC games. And I remember just seeing him kind of just wide-eyed being like, okay, this is college soccer, UNC. And here he is today on the precipice of playing in a World Cup here on home soil. But I'm curious, Thomas Mueller comes to your squad. What does he do for Vancouver, but more importantly for you in terms of advice, in terms of training and pushing you? You obviously already have your ways because you've kind of carved out that this season. But what has he done for Vancouver and for you in particular? I
think for the city, he's let the city know that like we're not going to accept average, and I think that's important for the fans to hear. He made that really clear that the fans shouldn't expect us to be average, shouldn't expect us to be below average. Like we want to expect ourselves to be winning trophies, and they should expect that out of us. And that was a big thing, I think, in the city. Like we wanted to build that excitement around the team. And then, yeah, personally, he's competitive. He's 35, 36 years old, but he wants to win in everything he does. And there's times, we're doing 11-11. He's coming in the locker room and he's going, where's Berhalter? He wasn't in training today, because his team just beat my team. It's like, he has no reason to say that. You know what I mean? Like he's won whatever he's won. And like, this is not a big deal for him, but it is, you know what I mean? And he wants to win everything he's in. So, that kind of like, all right, like, let's go, and that, when you're competing with someone like that, it's always fun. And he always knows like kind of how to get the best out of me, how to, tell me to calm down. And, I think we had a relationship where, sometimes like I want to push him, and I think like so rare to have someone that would let that happen, and someone at his pedigree that would be okay with someone, 24-year-old American kid to be like, let's go, and
so you laying on some tackles on him.
If I can't even get the ball. I try my best. And I think that creates, that training environment because, he's going hard and everyone's going hard and there's no like taking it easy on everyone. So it's he's been amazing.
All right. So let's talk about the end of your 2025. Obviously a little short MLS Cup, but as it pertains to the US, super strong. The Uruguay game in particular, just that last camp felt really special. Great energy, great free kick. You were out there setting the tone in a lot of different ways, and it's very clear that you're helping the team in that way, or main catalyst in terms of energy and enthusiasm, trying to make plays, solving problems, which I love on both sides of the ball. What was it like to be back on the field, to be driving the team in that way, to share the field with Gio, all of that, and then how do you use that as a springboard to what you want to accomplish with the U.S. team in 2026?
Yeah, I think, that was a chance. Like, I had a chance, and that's all you can ask for as a player, to get a chance. And, Mauricio trusted me. I remember looking at Aiden before the game, and, we wanted Ugarte and Ben Score to start because you want to play against the best players, and we weren't really sure. And, they put out a lineup and we just looked at each other like, all right, like, let's go, let's go. Like, we got this. And,
I love it.
I think that belief we've had since we were young kids, and, sharing the field with him was amazing. Since 16 years old, we've been playing with each other and, haven't played with each other in almost like 5 or 6 years. So that was a really cool moment. And, just the whole group, the way everyone played with confidence and with the swagger and, believing that, we're not just here to play against Uruguay. We're here to win, because that's what we do. We're American. We want to win, and I think that's important to share with everyone, that like, that's what we're here to do. We're not here to just, be in the games and fight. Like, we want to go dominate. We want to go win. And I think that was a great example. And yeah, it was so fun, man. I had so much fun that game, and even the whole camp, and as a whole, it was just a great time being there.
I'm curious because we have Cello here and Tony, like OGs, right?
Yeah.
Hall of Famers. If we had a Mount Rushmore, they'd both be on it, right?
Yeah.
So for you, what's your earliest World Cup memory? Because me was watching these guys.
Yeah.
But for you, what was that first World Cup memory, and what's your favorite World Cup memory?
Yeah, I mean, I was at the 2002 World Cup and 2006 World Cup.
And you actually remember the 02 one?
No. 02 I don't. 2006 I remember collecting the stickers.
Yeah.
I remember collecting the stickers and putting it on my book and being so excited about that. And in 2010, I remember, Landon's goal against Algeria. And I remember like staying home and my teachers having no idea why I skipped school. I told them World Cup, no idea what it even meant. And, it was significant in the fact that it was important for me and my family. It was important that we stayed home. We watched this game, and it didn't matter what's happening. Like, this was important. So I think that's my earliest memory of, being proud to be, a U.S. soccer fan.
That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because we always have on the show, like, our tradition is asking, favorite jersey swap. Have you had that yet? Do you have a jersey swap collection?
What'd you say?
It's tradition. You have to answer. Or maybe you had one, or you wanted to get somebody's and they waved you off.
This is Jimmy, by the way. we played Argentina, Copa America, 2007 Venezuela. I'll never forget. And the squad, each player, you're like Crespo, Messi, Mascherano, Tevez.
Yeah.
You know, you're going down the line.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, this is all. And he goes up to Riquelme. Hey, and Riquelme said,
get out of here.
I got waved off by Riquelme. Hey, wait.
He got waved off.
Sebastian, here, little context.
Yeah.
Riquelme didn't tie his shoes for the first 20 minutes of the game.
Oh my God.
And I was like, this isn't a friendly, bro. This is Copa America, you know? So after we scored, we went up 1-0, and I grabbed his arm and said, hey, tie your effing shoes, you know, and went and celebrated with Eddie Johnson after he scored.
I love it.
Then he tied his shoes right before a free kick.
Said, okay.
He dropped an assist. They scored to make it 1-1, and he wanted no part of me after the game.
Did you win the game or no? Or
we'd have to say it.
Oh, come on,
4-1.
Jimmy. I thought you were gonna say you won and taught him a lesson.
No, I
got taught a lesson.
We lost 4-1.
Don't poke the bear.
Yeah, I learned my lesson was don't poke the bear. That's the lesson that I learned. But he waved me off. So I don't know if you have a jersey swap. Story.
No, I've only swapped my friends. I've never swapped anyone besides someone that I knew personally, and I don't know. For me, it's not even like I think I don't need anyone's jerseys, but it's not something I do. I don't know. It's not something.
Let me give you a piece of advice.
Yeah.
Down the line.
Yeah.
You have kids, and they're like, "Do you have any cool memorabilia?"
Yeah.
That will be something that will change. Will change their lives. Their eyes will be open. So think about. It doesn't have to be like I was kind of like. If you're playing against somebody and there's a star player, you don't want to be that guy. It's like, oh, I got to be a jersey chaser.
Yeah.
But if there's somebody that you had a proper battle with and you're like, hey, respect.
Yeah.
Like, just it's a good memory to have. So don't even think about like, oh, it's a kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
It's tradition.
It's true. No, I've never changed anyone that I don't know.
Well, you're young, so you got plenty of time. Stack them up. So who's your best friend?
Thomas Muller is where you should start.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Say again, sorry.
Thomas Muller's, who's I would get his in a heartbeat. Get a Bayern.
No, I think that's one I think especially because he's my friend now. But I think Aiden Morris is.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and it was his game back from his ACL in 2022, and it was he went through a tough year, and like I was on Vancouver. It was the first game of the season. He was on Columbus, and he played he came in and subbed in, played 20 minutes, and it was just such a cool moment to see him on the field and have his jersey like with that significance, to see all his hard work, and it was a cool moment. Yeah.
Cello,
we didn't have names on our jersey back then, so I could have made up anybody. I took 6. That was Ruggetti from.
You can make up all the stories you want.
Yeah, I got great stories.
Cello, do you have? I don't even know if we know your best jersey swap. Who's your
again? I can make up anything I want.
Right.
No, but give us the real Cello. Who do you got?
Brazil in '94. Who do you got?
My favorite was being in Saudi Arabia when I was sitting in a room with Simeone, with Batistuta, with Ruggetti. So, I mean, it was like, it's like, how do you Canija? I'm sitting there going, a jersey swap compared to a picture like that, you know what I mean? So, but I got Stoichkov's jersey. So
okay.
So that one comes out.
That's so funny. How do you complain about that?
That was a right turn. I wasn't. Wow. Well, Sebastian, we appreciate your time, man. Thanks for hanging out with us, and good luck with Vancouver. Good luck with the U.S. men's national team. I was once where you were. I think we all have been, where you're on the cusp of breaking through and being with the squad, and hopefully you make the World Cup roster. We're really pulling for you. Sebastian Berhalter, everybody.
Good luck, brother.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ross. Appreciate you. Good seeing you guys.
Yeah, likewise.
All right, you guys continue on the show.
All right, check Jason Chuck. You keep chasing checks down there in Florida, dude. We appreciate you. He's off. All right. We are going to take our last break of Call It What You Want. When we come back, we're gonna break down that interview. I thought it was great from Sebastian Berhalter, and we'll get into some coaching moves and a whole bunch of fun stuff. Just keep it right here, like always.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus comes out swinging. The highlight machine collides with the Liverpool phenom, and the Hall of Famer returns to take on the bantamweight champion. UFC 324, Saturday, January 24th, only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back into the show. I'm Jimmy Conrad alongside Marcelo Balboa, and we had a brief. We saw him for a little bit. Jason Chuck was with us, and he was sitting with Sebastian Berhalter. Really well spoken. Yeah. Sebastian. And what do you think? Now that he's not here and he's not listening, maybe he'll come back and watch it later or listen later. But what do you think realistically are his odds of making the World Cup roster. For me, he's got a lot of forward momentum, a lot of things going his way. Obviously performed excellent in that last camp, highlighted by his goal and his just performance overall against Uruguay. Where do you think there has to be like an injury, or do you think that he's on your team?
I think that there doesn't have to be an injury. I just think he has to stay in good form, because the bite he brings, the energy he brings, the leadership, he doesn't care who you are. He's in your face. He's protecting his players. He scores a fantastic goal the other day. So I don't think he's a lock, but I think this kid percentage right now is probably in the 70%. I think that's the kind of year you need to have leading into a World Cup. To be looked at, to be called into, to be relied on. So I think if you have a little bit of a lull, if Adams is in at 100% and he's not, I think you slip Sebastian right in there, and I think he's on the team. So am I going to say he's a lock? He's 100%, but that kid is very close to being, I think, named on the 2026 World Cup team.
Yeah, there's one of those things where if you're like in the lower end of the roster, what is that one or two special things that you can add to the mix?
Yeah.
Right. Off the field, clearly he's competitive. He's got a great attitude. He would fall into that Brenden Aaronson characteristic that you mentioned earlier, where it doesn't matter what the situation is. He's always going to give you 100%. Yeah. I feel like Sebastian falls into that. Now what he also adds is his set piece delivery is awesome, right? So cool. Now he's ticking a couple boxes that can help you both on and off the field, and I think that helps. Right now, if we stay in the 3-4-2-1, right, back three, two wing backs, and we have, hey, look at Chuck's back. I didn't know we were gonna get more Chuck, but we got more Chuck. What a
you know why? It's because I love you guys, and if I'm here and I can be on the show, I'm gonna join the show. So holla at your boy.
Okay.
You know, by the way,
no one else wanted to talk to you. What happened?
Yeah, nobody else. They're like done with Chuck. He's asking.
Hey, Tim Ream's next.
Nice.
Ream.
Nice. Good job.
Nice. How's it going down there, by the way? How's Media Day going?
Well, the Miolas had me and Ibis over for dinner last night.
Oh, nice.
Top Italian meal.
Nice.
I mean, ridiculous. So
I expect
shout
nothing
out
less from Big Tone. Oh,
yeah,
look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Top. But it's been incredible to come down here. You know, Cello, Jimmy, you see all familiar faces.
Yeah.
All the team administrators that you see around the league, people that work for the league, people that, you know, all the players. You know, there's some that they're going through the motions. Hey, I'm getting paid to be here and I gotta talk. But you know, there's a commonality when you're talking with a former player that and they ask you questions that you actually enjoy answering, then there's a difference. So it's cool, it's fun. But I do miss these type of conversations. By the way, I thought Sebastian's interview was top.
Yeah, top. So let's go back to that conversation. I know you're preparing for your race against Jack McGlynn at some point today, Charlie. But going back to this conversation, what do you feel like Sebastian's a lock right now for you, or where is he now, or what do you think needs to happen for him to make the World Cup team?
Lock is a strong word.
Okay, same with Cello, so the same.
Yeah. So do I think he is currently in the 26? I'd say yes. He's currently in the 26. But again, right, we're in January. A lot can happen, and he has to continue his progress, continue his form. I think when you're talking about the midfield, it's the deepest part of our team. Without a doubt. I think that's the strength of the U.S. men's national team right now, is the depth that they have in midfield. And given what Mauricio thinks is the right fit, right? And I think he loves what Sebastian Berhalter brings to the team. I think the Uruguay game was huge for him because he's scoring off set pieces. We saw him grow in the Gold Cup. I think Christian Roldan and Sebastian Berhalter are kind of working against each other, because I think
Aiden Morris.
I don't think
he's
both
clearly close to Aiden Morris. Right. Yeah. So
right. I think it's one of the two, because if you're throwing in, Christian's a lock at the 10. The other 10 position, you have Weston, you have Tillman, you have potentially Weah, if you want to get Weah involved if Best is starting.
Even in the conversation with 10s, I'd be more the bottom of the box, right?
Right, but these are midfielders, right? And then you're throwing in the next two, right? So it's Tyler Adams, and then you have in Tessman. You have potentially Cardoso. You have Roldan. You have Berhalter, right? No, but these are all names, right? And then there's a wild card, Yunus Musah, who's out of the picture. He's finally playing at Atalanta. If he's not, starting, he's the first sub. He's winning the trust back slowly. Is there room for him to get a last camp? Is Cardoso's been getting great reports from Atletico Madrid, apparently, that he's performing well. He's healthy. Does he get one last look in March? So there's little wiggle room there in midfield when you're talking about depth. So I think Sebastian Berhalter has grown tremendously, and I think he's earned his spot in that 26. But again, a lot can happen. You want to see him continue to thrive. I think he's going to be definitely a valuable piece within that 26 because you can see how he conducts himself. Super professional, takes care of his body. He's going to add value to the group regardless if he's on the pitch or if he's in the 26-man roster. So
yeah, we agree with those sentiments for sure.
And again, Gio Reyna is another one who, where is he come March? Not so much how does he fit within the U.S. men's national team, but is he getting consistent minutes? Is he healthy? Is he contributing in the attacking third? Has he been able to turn around Mönchengladbach's fortunes? So there's a number of players, and I spoke to him briefly before he came on the show, and I asked him, have you seen the new jerseys yet? He's like, yeah, we got to all see them and feel them and touch them last camp. I said, what did that do for you? He's like, one, they're incredible, and there's two, right? I think some of the rumored jerseys, the leaks have come out. The red and white Waldo with the waves, right?
Yeah, we talked about it earlier.
But the other one, the dark one with the stars, that's the one that kind of hit because it's very similar.
Is it navy blue or is it black?
It's like an ode to the 94. It's like a dark navy.
If it's navy, I'm all in on it. But if it's black, it doesn't.
But it's like a kind of an ode to the 94 with the stars, and you could just tell when he's talking about it, just the hope and the joy and the reality of his situation from being a young kid at UNC who wasn't really ready to being a star in MLS and starring for the U.S. men's national team, especially in that game against Uruguay. So, it gets real. When you see the kit, I think that's when it really hits you like, oh, look what's in front of me in the next 6 months.
No, I remember that, seeing the kits as well for the 2006 World Cup. And then also I remember wanting to wear the blue pinstripe ones that we wore at the Copa America in 2000.
Those were sick.
Yeah. You can't even find them anymore. And I don't even know where mine is, so I'm sad about that.
I by the way, I wore number 10 for that Copa America, and I'm like, what is going on? I'm wearing number 10 with the pinstripe. And Eddie Johnson gave me his 9 and signed it for me. But yeah, we've had some really top kits back in the day, and then I think they kind of started to get watered down a little bit, but now it looks like we're back on the up. Everyone's going to be buying jerseys this summer.
I didn't hear anything you just said after you said, I can't even believe you wore the number 10. Chuck, Copa America.
Hey, that's what happens when Landon doesn't go to Copa America. So I'll take it.
So Eddie wore the 9?
Yeah, Eddie wore the 9 and wore 10.
You got the 10. Man, that's pressure. Yeah. That's a lot of pressure.
Very nice.
Shout out to Bob Riley for giving me the
10. Cello, what number were you? Did you stick with a number that
I always wore 17?
That's right. I wore that number in high school because you wore it.
Well, you'll laugh because in college I went to San Diego State and they gave me 10 as a center back.
Wow.
I wore 10 and it made me laugh. I'm like, I don't want it. They're like, you have to wear it. So I was like, all right. So I wore Ronaldo wore 17 back in college.
And they gave you number 10.
I didn't want 13 when I went to the national team. So the next jersey that came up was 17. I took it like there was no tomorrow, and I kept it.
I'm still waiting on my 17 Colorado Rapids jersey from you, Cello.
I got you. Don't worry.
Okay.
I got you, bro. I got
that too. I want one of those too.
That bicycle kick will forever be iconic.
Forever.
Do you want the white and green one?
Yeah.
I got an OG white and green one for you.
That's for me. Done.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Let's go.
So, Chuck, you referenced the jerseys. We talked about them a little bit earlier. What are you rating them? We'll throw the photos back up for everybody that's maybe joining us a little later. I don't even know if Cello answered my question. What did you give it out of 10? So I like it when we saw it.
You see the waves, right? It's supposed to be reminiscent of the flag, right?
I'll give it an 8 with a full kit. Shorts and socks. I'll give it an 8 and a half.
Do you like the waves, or would you have rather it just kept it straight hoops.
The straight is Waldo. The straight's the one Jimmy's got. I like the wave. It's different. I like the wave.
Yeah.
So.
You had to do something a little different.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 7.
A 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only because now that I know that the other jersey is a dark blue kind of, that's more towards my 8, 9, 10 area. Now I like that it's a dark blue, not black.
I'm with you. Hey, we got Matt Turner. Where is he?
Matt Turner.
Never mind. He's coming at me. Sorry. He's not on the show. He's with your boy.
Bye, Matt Turner. We'll catch up with you later. So what are you giving it, Chuck, out of 10?
I'm with Cello. I really like it, but it's probably an 8. It's an 8 for me.
All right. So that's me. You're with me on that. I said 8. Yeah.
The wave is just kind of.
It feels busy.
Yeah.
So what we said, Chuck, when we have the full photo up, when you have the number with they got to block it out so you can see the number. Otherwise, it feels real busy. If they do that, because we had a photo of Michael and Clint wearing the Waldo, and they blocked out the number, and it looks clean. So even though the one I have behind me does not have it blocked out,
and ours I like 94. They were busy too because they put the 17 right on the waves going down.
Yeah,
so it's
right.
very tough to see.
Yeah. So I feel like they're going to have to change that.
And the dark navy one with the stars, the stars. I love the fact that the kit has stars. I thought whatever kit, you have 2 options, right? Home and away, whatever one it is, one has to have stars. And so they brought the stars.
Did they give
back.
you the whole look of the dark with white, or is it red and blue? How does that uniform end up?
I'm gonna ask Sebastian.
Okay.
You got to do it.
I'll get the short.
It has to be wavy flag, red, white. The Waldo kit with blue shorts and white socks.
I'm sure right now, whoever from US Soccer / Nike watching right now is like, text Berhalter, tell him, no, don't let the cat out the bag.
I love that it's navy, by the way, because the leaked photo makes the jersey look black, and I want it to stay true to our kind of color scheme. But if it goes navy, white shorts, and navy socks, man, I'm all in. I'm gonna go full kit wanker and just buy the whole thing and walk around town.
Oh, by the way, I didn't get your takes, guys. Brenden Aaronson, the 2 goals against Newcastle.
Oh,
yesterday.
dude, guys.
So that's another guy also in the midfield conversation, right?
Sure.
So
no, he's a lock.
He's a lock.
He's a lock.
Yeah. So again, how many midfielders do they take? If we're breaking it down, 8. So you have 4 spots.
Yeah, but hold on. Tessman can play center back in the 3. Or he can play as a 6. So I think that right there puts him above everybody else. My concern is, where does Luna fit in now with the Gio? You know what I mean? Berhalter's attitude and mentality and his grit. You need that in a game. Now all of a sudden Roldan comes out of the blue and starts playing well. What does that do for Luna's position?
Yeah, Luna could get squeezed, but there's something about Luna.
Yeah, Aaronson, without a doubt. I see Matt Christopher. He's in the best form of his life.
Yeah.
No, without a doubt. Those 2 finishes yesterday at Newcastle, phenomenal. Unlucky on the penalty with the handball, and then next thing you know, you go from winning the match to losing. Yeah. But Aaronson is playing the best of his career at the moment.
So okay, I'm trying to list out the midfielders right now. Who are your 6s right now? So you could have Adams, Roldan, Tessman, and Berhalter could be your kind of bottom of the box guys. You have Cardoso, as you mentioned. We briefly mentioned Musah kind of having a brief resurgence and getting more minutes. Yeah. He's out of the picture for me, but just to throw a name in there. Aiden Morris, obviously, has been getting a look or 2.
I don't think he's in the.
I don't think so either, but just
yeah,
I agree ultimately. So that's the bottom of the box.
Oh, we got Mr. Tim Ream coming, so I got to see you guys later.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, we're gonna keep this podcast going. We're gonna go a little bit longer because we got Tim Ream that's gonna join the show, which is very cool. We got to get those bro hugs out of the way. Tim Ream going full kit. I like that, or at least looking good.
Never mind, we're keeping it going.
We're gonna keep it going. We're just gonna keep this rolling.
He's got a ponytail. He's on my team.
Yeah, I love that. The all hair game.
The all hair game. The all hair game. He made it.
All right, so joining us here on the show, special guest Tim Ream from Charlotte and the U.S. men's national team, of course. Here, Jimmy Conrad, Marcelo Balboa. Listen, you're with friends, Tim. You got former center backs. that are here and are going to comfort you as we go through this. Charlie doesn't count. We don't count Charlie at all. He's pointing at Charlie. He's our resident number 9, but you're amongst friends here with center backs. Great to see you as always. And how are you feeling for this upcoming year?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited. I said last year that, well, at the end of the year that this is the biggest offseason and biggest year of a lot of guys' careers. If we're being completely honest with everyone, and looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting preseason started and having a good start to the season, and then the big one comes, right? And it's here before you know it. And looking forward to put in the work to potentially and try to get on that team and get to another World Cup.
Yeah, you made it for me because you got all hair team. We're there.
Oh, brilliant.
Ponytails were good.
If that was it.
Being one of the veterans, I know. Being one of the veterans on that team, you've seen a lot of ins and outs. Now that it's kind of settling down, you're getting close to the World Cup. How much pressure is it now with guys coming in, you being a leader, being a guy who's been there, and experienced players helping this team?
I don't know that there's pressure. I think we always put pressure on ourselves, right? We always want to do the best. We want to try and help everybody along. With the culture that's been created, guys come and go and they're in and out, and it's so ingrained now, and guys understand it completely that it just falls into line. Guys understand what is needed, what it takes to be a part of the team. And, I'm there as a shoulder if they need somebody to talk to, whether it's on the field, off the field. But guys have a full understanding of what is needed, what's required, and what's going to keep them in and amongst the national team going forward.
So you spoke about preseasons for yourself, biggest preseason of your career for some of these guys. Where does it rank for you in terms of getting ready ahead of a World Cup on home soil? And then, you are a leader. You've started in the Premier League. You've played against some of the best players in the world. You had a World Cup under your belt. What are your expectations for this summer?
This ranks. It's up there for me. It has to be the most important. You have an opportunity to represent your country. And represent your country at a home World Cup. It doesn't get bigger than that. My ultimate goal originally was to go to a World Cup and play in a World Cup. Now the ultimate goal is to go to a World Cup, play in a World Cup on home soil, right? So it's changed a little bit. But yeah, it's right up there at number one. But listen, being the experienced guy, there's so many guys who have experience now, right? And yes, you've played against some of the best strikers in the world, and you take, whether you realize it or not, you take a little bit from those games, right? From those experiences. And again, I'm not one that's going to sit here and say, okay, guys, you should be doing this, right? You need to be doing this. This is how you get. It's a give and take, right? I still take from these young guys. I still learn from some of these young guys and what they do and how they do things. And I think that's the best part. I joke that they keep me young. There's a reason I'm still going, and it's because I go in with these guys who are a bunch of clowns who say 6'7" and all this nonsense, right? And so I still take from them, but at the end of the day, we're all there together, and there's a reason we're all there together. Excuse me. And I love it. I still enjoy it, and hopefully they enjoy me being in and amongst the group, and continuing to push myself, and hopefully that continues to push them as well.
Yeah, Tim, I thought during my career, it was almost easier to play with the national team than it was with my club team, because everybody at the national team was so good at their job. I could really just focus on being the best that I needed to be at my job. So it was always fun to kind of go into that environment knowing that everybody's good, no matter their age, right? No matter their experience, everybody was so good. So I'm going to I'm a huge nerd for team shape. And I think it solves a lot of problems that everybody knows how to move in every situation. Well, when I think about this team in particular in the last couple of camps, things seem to unlock when we switch from a little bit more of a back three. Now, I know we can have a big conversation about how it's still a fluid 4 or at times a back 5, but there still seems to be a kind of change in how we're moving in our back line. but it's unlocked how we play and look to, I don't know, penetrate or break lines going forward. I'm a nerd. So I just wanted to know how it felt for you on the field and how comfortable the whole team now looks now that the roles seem to be a little bit more defined.
So
yeah, Regal me here as a nerd yourself.
I'm glad you realize it's more of a fluid four than just a straight three center backs. Because a lot of people have not understood and realized that. Listen, I think it gives everybody more of a, it makes them think a little bit more, right? And I think it can be a good thing and a bad thing. I think it was a stroke of genius to go to three center backs. But in doing that, I think it unlocked the thought of guys being able to play in a fluid four, right? Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, okay, we went to three center backs. We seemed a lot more comfortable. And then we then went back into some of the games and went to a fluid four. And now all of a sudden guys are like, oh, like this is the way it's supposed to look. Because we started in a three and guys were now in set positions, right? In the 3-4-3 or 3-5, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And then we've gone back to the back four where one of the fullbacks stays and now becomes a back three. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, now I understand what my positioning should be in a fluid four because we've done it in a strict back three center back. I think it gives us flexibility, right? Flexibility. It gives us incredible options to change on the fly in game, right? In situation, but it allows it allows guys to play different roles and understand, okay, if I'm playing this role, well, I usually play that role, but what does that guy need? Because I know what I need as a left-sided center back in a four. What does my left back need? Now, depending on the left back, it's going to be different, right? Okay, well now I'm playing left-sided center back in a three. Right. What is, when the guy is dropping in, if it's the left back playing as one of the three, or if it's the right back in one of the three, what does he need? What is going to put him in the best possible position to succeed? So I think it gives guys a better understanding of what everybody needs, but it gives them a better understanding of positionally where they should be at all times, instead of, okay, now we're trying to go, right? We're trying to be this physical team, which we have to be, while also pairing that with being this tactically astute, fluid movement team. And that's where we were getting it wrong. We couldn't do both. And now all of a sudden in October, November, we're doing both. And it looks great. It looks amazing. Yeah. I'm so excited for the future. And thanks for answering so in depth for me. That satisfied my nerd itch. So I appreciate it.
You're so happy. You're going to go to bed
right now. Yes.
Like a little baby tonight.
I am. It's absolutely incredible. Thank you for that.
And I'm going to say, because following the national team, you win, Pochettino comes in, it goes well, it goes bad, dilemmas everywhere. At what point finally, you said October, November, you guys finally clicked in? What changed with the group and Pochettino that it finally just clicked, and it seems now that everybody's under the same umbrella?
So there's been, I'll simplify it a lot more than it probably should be. Three things: a togetherness and a connection that everybody talks about. Oh, all the guys, like, they like each other, they're friends. Yeah, okay, we are, but is there that actual like connection and togetherness on the field? Okay. So that's one. The fight and the attitude and playing up to, right? Okay, can you play up to this line of aggressiveness without crossing it? It's a delicate balance. So that's two. And then the third one is what we just talked about, the tactical side, right? And now he'll say, okay, tactics and this and shape and blah, blah, blah. Well, it doesn't matter if you don't have the togetherness and you don't have the fight and the aggressiveness with and without the ball. And so those three things we were missing. And if you're missing one of those, the whole balance is thrown off, right? Yeah. And so he's come in and he's really like hammered on those three things. And March was a low point. We all know that, right? And we all know that there's ups and downs in every career in life, but March was a very, very low point. Gold Cup was kind of the rebuild. And now you go into the fall and all of a sudden it's been a year with him. And now guys understand what he's talking about in terms of togetherness and connection. Guys are understanding what he means when he says being aggressive with and without the ball. And guys are understanding the tactical side and the fluidity of the movements, and we can have a right back, we can have a left back, but then one of them's going to stay, or a center back can step up in the midfield. All of these things, it took time, and now they're all, everybody understands them when they're in, when they're out, and everybody knows. It's like a chop and change, play and plug. So Tim, and everybody understands it.
So really quick on that, do you feel like the group needed to suffer a little bit together, right?
Yep.
So you have to survive to thrive, and
sure.
now you're suffering, which you obviously have to solve those problems not only on the field but off the field.
Yep.
I feel like it's just going to make the group stronger moving forward. And now it's like, oh, we can conquer anything that comes our way, and that's been evident in the last 2 camps.
And I think in saying that, you look at the 2022 World Cup and the game against England, I thought was the strongest performance. Yep. How much different is this squad now from that 2022 performance?
I think it's better. I think, listen, when you create this genuine, and I keep saying it, and people are going to be annoyed and bored to death with this connection and togetherness.
Not me, I'm a nerd.
But it really does make a difference. It really is something that is like a tangible thing you can feel. You can feel it at meals. You can feel it at training. We've had some of the most intense training sessions I've ever been a part of. And you look at that game against England, and we were all on cloud 9 with it, right? Like it felt like one of the most complete performances that we've ever had as a group. And now I look at the game against Uruguay, and I'm like, oh. Holy cow, right? Wow. And that's important. Like that is important to hang on to. We've played so many different types of opposition from so many different confederations, and we're playing well, but we're still not at our optimal. And that is a good feeling to have, knowing now we're in that last final stretch going into a World Cup.
Now, does that include Jedi Robinson? You got to be thrilled that he's back, and obviously your former club, Fulham, in a good way right now, 6 games unbeaten, and Jedi's been a part of all 6 of those games, 90 minutes. He hasn't really been factored into this last year with Mauricio Pochettino. And when you plug him in to what's happening, with all due respect to the players that have been in that position, Max Arfson, who I think's been unlocked since the kind of change in tactics. But when Jedi's in that position, we're all kind of salivating the opportunity to see him getting up and down the sideline for the red, white, and blue.
Yeah, it's I mean I've been tuning in all year, and it's been a journey for him to get back healthy and being the Jedi that we know he is. And I think it's taken a big toll on him. And now to see him back playing 90 minutes, playing well, and he's not fully fit. He's still not hit his. I'm watching games and I'm like, okay, that's not something he would normally do if he's 90 minutes like full Jedi, right? So it's exciting. He's got a challenge on his hands. I'll give him that. You can't. Again, there is no guarantees in any of this, and that is another thing that Mauricio has preached, is that everybody is replaceable. Everybody can do well and be a part of the team, but also somebody else can come in and take your spot. So it's great to see him back. I want to see him continue to do what he's doing, because I think it gives you another different look in terms of him, bombing up and down the left side of the field and helping out on.
Look how happy Jimmy is.
I know. I see him. The smile is crazy.
It's like you're talking to Santa Claus.
But yeah, no, it's great to have him back.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't want to say anything, but do I see coaching in your future? The way you're talking?
No? Just wait, Dave. Just wait.
I said that too until I had.
I love it. Why not? I'm curious. Why not?
Mine aren't interested in playing soccer. They're swimmers, so I'm.
There you go.
Oh, you're good.
Right.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm good.
All
no, you know what? I did think a few years ago, maybe, and then I realized how much time and effort and work goes into it, and like some of these guys, they're at the training ground at 7 a.m. and they don't leave till 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Then you're traveling. Then you're like, no, I mean, I'm away from my family enough as it is. Granted, I will say maybe if I haven't, and I'm glad I have, but if I've not been with the national team for so long and having to come in and out and go in and out and travel so much, maybe. But I've done it for so long, and I've been away from the kids. I've missed so much.
Oh yeah.
What's your favorite jersey swap?
Yeah, we have tradition here. Best jersey swap.
Favorite jersey swap.
It's got to probably be with Fulham, right? Where's the World Cup?
There's too many.
He's flexing on us.
You can't get out of it that easy. You can't get out of it that easy.
You know what? I had one with Harry Kane for Tottenham.
Good one.
Probably not my favorite, but it is a good one. I had one with Thomas Muller when we played Germany last year?
That's a good one.
We played them last year at some point in Hartford.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had one with him as well. 2 years ago. Yeah. So that's probably just because he's striker, wears number 13. I'm center back, wear number 13. I think just the significance of that is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
My favorite jersey swap actually came in the game against Tim with Henry when I was with DC.
Yeah.
So
I never got to swap with him. He just gave me a jersey, which is cool.
Yeah, that's
that's amazing. That's amazing. All right, Tim Ream, everybody. Continued success with the U.S. Good luck with Charlotte FC this upcoming MLS season. We really appreciate your time. You're the man. And we're pulling for you to have an absolute dominating performance for the U.S. this summer.
You made Jimmy's day.
I did. We got to talk offline. I could talk soccer with you all day. Tim Ream, everybody. Hang out with us.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So
are you happy now?
I'm super happy. Listen, when I had a chance to interview Mauricio Pochettino, Cello, at the U.S. Open Cup final, and this was right after the October window when he switched to the back three against Japan, or the fluid four. Yeah. So I'm glad that got confirmed for me from Tim Ream. And I asked him essentially, like, are you going to stick with this? Yeah. And he did. Now he's putting his own stamp on things, right, with the fluid four. But you could tell it unlocked the team. It was so clear and evident. And he gave me a little twinkle. I saw a little twinkle in his eye when talking about it. So it's cool that the team has bought in. Yeah. That it's unlocked a lot of the players. I didn't name them, but I think Max Arfson and Freeman in particular have really felt kind of the freedom of this positional change, this tactical change. So shout out to Tim for
let me ask you so you can nerd out. So since you've had two guys, Arfson and you've had Freeman, who really know the fluid fork, which we've seen. Yeah. Now you put in Des and you put in
Jedi
Robinson. So now does that, you know what I'm saying? Are they okay with both one going, one going? Because they both like to bomb forward.
Well, that's the beauty of having potentially two sixes, is that somebody can help solve that problem. Yeah. But good problems to have. Ultimately.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know what? I appreciate you hanging out with us today. It's great to have you on the show as always. This has been a long one, but we had so many special guests, and shout out to Chuck and Ivis for wrangling some great guests with Sebastian Berhalter and Tim Ream. And thank you to them and their teams for allowing them to come on the show. A lot of fun, but man, that one was action packed. So Cello,
I enjoyed the extended version. The extended version was good.
That's what the people want, and that's what we're going to give them here. All the average of goodness that they can handle. And that's it. Thanks for hanging out with us as always. This has been fun, and we'll see you next week on Tuesday. And have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you soon. Later.